Welcome to the first ever show
of the Jack and Cole podcast.
My name is Cole Coons.
And I'm Jackson Clamp.
We're going to be starting doing a podcast every Monday. On Mondays, we'll be recapping the previous week in college football. We're going to hop right into it with notable candidates / dark horses for the college football playoff. Is Boise State. Just because the strength of schedule and BYU is their hardest opponent, they might struggle in that one because it's at BYU and their quarterback is a freshman.
I definitely agree on that one, but I have Baylor only because Matt Rule went nearly perfect in his third season at Temple. It's his third season at Baylor. He's going to go nearly perfect at Baylor.
All right, for my second one, I'm going to go with Texas. If they can stop Jalen Hurts in the Red River rivalry, then they will most likely have a chance to get in there. Although they do have one loss, and if they match up with them in the Big 12 championship again and lose, then they're just completely out of it.
I definitely agree with you on Texas, but I could see Baylor upsetting them if they beat Oklahoma. But I have LSU. The only reason they're a dark horse is because they play Alabama. And I could see Joe Burrow just showing out on that game and boosting his Heisman stock in that game and winning it all.
All right, for my third one, I'm going to go with Notre Dame. And y'all may be saying, why Notre Dame? Because they just lost to Georgia. But even though they lost to Georgia, I think it proves that they can play with SEC talent, and that should help them when the College Football Playoff Committee comes together.
Well, I have Boise State, like you said, the away opponent against BYU with a hungry Zach Wilson ready to prove the world what he's all about once again since he fell off that last time against Washington. He's going to be back ready and hungry versus Boise State at home, white out. That's all you can do.
And for my last one, I'm going to go with Wisconsin. Simply just because Jonathan Taylor in the backfield is tearing it up. I think they're going to struggle versus Justin Fields in the Ohio State offense, but we'll see how that goes.
I have SMU. The only downside is their schedule. They literally don't play anybody. Their strength of schedule is 60th left in the top 25. That's just not going to happen, but I like them going undefeated for the rest of the year, though.
All right, next we're going to go to Heisman Candidates. My first one, Jalen Hurts, quarterback out of Oklahoma, 1,523 yards, 14 touchdowns. Right now, first overall in QBR. Now, those stats have to be taken in a little bit into consideration because he is playing in the Big 12, which everyone knows there's no defense there.
I definitely agree with you on Jalen Hurts, but Lincoln Riley literally throws out everything that he can to make them quarterbacks first-round picks and Heisman candidates.
For my second Heisman hopeful, Jonathan Taylor, like I said earlier, 745 yards, 12 touchdowns, averaging 7.2 yards a carry.
All right, I have Joe Burrow, 1,864 yards, 22 touchdowns, fourth in QBR, and Joe Brady with all them passes that he's throwing out there, that's just crazy. So that's my Heisman winner right now if I had to choose one.
Well, I'm going to go with my Heisman winner right now. It would be Justin Fields, Ohio State. 1,298 yards, 18 touchdowns, third overall in QBR, 6 touchdowns in one quarter. 6. That's right, 6.
I definitely agree with you on Justin Fields. That's why I feel like he's going to be third in the Heisman race, only because they play Wisconsin, and that will probably try to boot him out of it.
And for my final Heisman hopeful, I'm going to go with Chabot Hubbard, Oklahoma State running back. 1,094 yards, 13 touchdowns, averaging 6.8 yards a touch. He is the second fastest player in Oklahoma State history to reach 1,000 yards. The only person in front of him, that's right, Barry Sanders.
I have Charlie Brewer. He's literally going off this year. He has 1,202 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. That's pretty amazing.
All right, so we're going to go on to our picks now. For the first game, we're going to go recap number 18, UCF at Cincinnati. Cincinnati won that probably because Dylan Gabriel threw 3 interceptions. I'd say that's a big reason. No one really expected Cincinnati to win that, but they came out of there with a huge win because it was at home.
Well, I definitely agree with you on Dylan Gabriel lost them that game, but Michael Warren, a powerful back, 133 yards. Literally, Marcus Freeman got that team defense ready against, a good UCF passing team. Just imagine what he can do against Boise State or something like that.
Our next game, number 14 Iowa at number 19 Michigan. Michigan won this game. I think it was 10-3. Nate Stanley, again, 3 interceptions. So just quarterbacks were having a terrible week this week. So that played a big part in that.
Yep, Nate Stanley disappointed me big time. I really had Iowa going really good to Ohio State and then maybe hitting a bump in the road, but Nate Stanley, disappointment.
For our next one, number 11, Texas at West Virginia. Texas went in there, played a big game. West Virginia's quarterback, Austin Kendall, 367 yards but 4 interceptions. I think you take away some of those interceptions and West Virginia would have won the game. It was really a tough situation for Texas to be in on the road.
Yeah, that Texas defense, though, was very underrated. I really saw, them defensive backs come alive, show how they so-called defensive back but Austin Kendall's going to mature a little bit, and he'll be back next week.
All right, for the next game, number 3, Georgia at Tennessee. Obviously, Georgia won that, but it was a nail-biter at the beginning. I thought we could come down and see an upset, but Georgia just blew the doors off of Tennessee. Their freshman quarterback, first start, 259 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He accounted for the only touchdowns that Tennessee scored. But Jake Fromm just picked the Tennessee defense apart. 24 for 29, 288 yards. He's just so accurate and just knows how to throw it and where to throw it and how to be safe with the ball.
Honestly, I think Jeremy Pruitt found his quarterback that game, and they're really mature. I think they're going to start winning more games coming up, but that defense needs some work, and I feel like Jeremy Pruitt's going to try to take over as the defensive coordinator at Tennessee just a little more because they can win games for him, but that's just up in the air still, but yeah.
And for our last game, number 7 Auburn at number 10 Florida. Oh, good Lord. Bo Nix, why? 3 interceptions, 3, and they kept him in the game in this big of a game. You have a good quarterback behind him in Joey Gatewood, and you don't play him. Gus, what are you doing? It's just, it blows my mind. Sometimes I feel like he only plays because of his last name is Nix. He's the only player where they show pictures of him as a kid, where they show highlights of his dad. It just, everything like that. So, Bo Nix, I would say, lost them the game on top of Gus.
I mean, I love Bo Nix, but I would have put Joey Gatewood in, put him in more for an option set because Florida was looking for that passing, fade route, go route, that quick curl, and literally stopped it every time. Kyle Trask, on the other hand, literally starred in every role that Dan Mullen put against him. So, he has a little role, but that little role is really building up as the weeks go.
All right, and that's going to wrap it up for the first episode of the Jack and Cole podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time.